Alright, so back at it again. And this time around, I do believe that OBS is actually recording my audio from Spotify this time around, unlike last time. So hopefully the audio will come across better. I didn't actually realize that the last video didn't have the music in there. When I checked the OBS, it was showing the music coming across in the same channel as the mic volume, so I had initially thought that it was actually picking up the music, but I guess not. And I kind of looked a little bit stupid humming along to music that you couldn't hear. But I believe the first thing I'm going to work on this time around, which let me turn my volume down a little bit. There we go. Let's turn it down on my headset. I don't know how loud the music's going to be compared to the game. I imagine it's probably going to be pretty low. In fact, actually, let me check. Yeah, so that's at around a 50 decibel range. Or, well, yes, it's actually a little bit lower. Yeah, whatever. Just gonna bump this up just a little bit. And check and see what the audio levels look like. So it appears that my volume's still louder than music, so hopefully it'll be good in the recording. So let's see. What I wanted to do is have a grind pit on this side, and I can do the printer coming off of this side. And let's see, what I need to do is go ahead and put light armor blocks in there. Why are my dampeners on? Relative to Mercy. Mercy shouldn't be moved. Normal. Okay. That was odd. Anyway, what we're going to do, we're going to grab some steel plate. And we'll do the layout for these docks here. So we got 1, 2, 3, 5, and then that comes out. Not sure exactly how long I want that to be out, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And rather than actually going by the 10, I'll expand this one out 5 further. 1, 2, 3, 5. So that should be 15. 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. That's 15 right there. We'll expand this out some. And we'll expand this one out some. That'll kind of give me a little bit of an outline here. And when I print the ship itself, don't necessarily want it to be above this line, right? Like I want this plane to be just one large flat plane. So I want my printer to be below. And the jump drive shouldn't expand out any more past that line. So that should be perfectly fine. And in fact, is that... Yeah, that's just about perfect, because it ends with one block overhang. So what I want to do now is I need this to be 15 as well. So we'll find the middle point, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I think should be the middle point. 5, 6, 7, 8. No, 8 is going to be the middle point, I guess. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, that's 7. Did I actually count this out right? I don't think I did. No, that is 15. So that should be 5 and 5 on each side. And then 2, so that would be 7. 5, 6, 7. It's right here. 4, 5, 6, 7. How is that an even if it's odd? Where the fuck is the middle point then? Let's see, what I'll do is I'll just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of that. We'll do this out here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That. And the middle point is that one. Okay. I don't know what I was doing to count that out wrong. I believe that's 15 down. Yeah, it's 15 down, and I want it to actually be right on the edge. So we'll do that. So that way this block is counted as one. And now, let's see. I need to decide, do I want to do a full wall that moves back, or do I want to do it vertically? I think a wall would probably be better. Yeah, a wall and have it horizontally move out. So we'll do 1, 2, 5, 1, 2, 3, so that should be the middle point of that. So that should be the middle point of, basically if it was a 15 by 15 square, that would be the point in the middle. With 2 unknown signals. Guess I'll go ahead and go for those. See what we get real quick. Helmet out of that. Got some credits. I don't want the plates, I guess. And now we'll come over to this one. Oops. Turned my dampeners on by mistake. Okay, let's hit up that unknown signal. Turn the dampers on. Still flew past it a little. And that. Nothing special. There's an ion thruster. Snag it. And yeah, stop moving, stop moving, stop moving. Alright, let me just dampen to this so I can actually move along with it. We got some credits and I don't want to grab anything else. So we'll head off to the base. What I'll do, my mouse stopped working for a second there, don't know why. Dump that in there. Same with the scrap metal, don't need that. Now, what I want to do is have welders, have, oops, that's supposed to be an N, conveyors. I'm going to need pistons, and I'm going to need yes, the pipe junction. Okay, so just like on my previous weld wall I had, I want it to be kind of a checkerboard pattern of welders, because that's the most efficient placement you can get for a welder wall, or at least as far as I'm aware. And I want the initial placement to have a welder right in the middle for no other reason than just for the middle point to be a welder. And what I'll do is I'll put blocks here so I can grind that off. You know what, actually I'll put that back because I just realized I want the welder to be placed with the conveyor ports. If I can get there. Oh, there we go. I want the conveyor ports to be vertical because I want each line to go up and down, and then just connect them across the top. Or actually, you know what? I'll probably do the bottom, but anyway, I want it to be connected like that. Grind this out so that way I can put a piston in here. And I'm going to need quite a few pistons. I think it was 10 for my last printer that I had. Which I'm realizing now I can't
energy low.
Place that direct on there. Okay. So I'll have to work around that. Probably need to build off from my storage before I do that. Come in here. Heal up real quick, or not heal, but charge the suit. Go. I still need to do a sensor on there. Probably just put a sensor like directly on the bottom of where that door is, and have the range limited to be just a single beam with a negative vertical offset, to where once you enter, it will switch. Or actually just close both of them, and then whichever one's open, when that closes all the way, it'll open the other one. I think that would probably work, but regardless, let's see, how do I want to connect the things up? Oh, I need interior plates apparently. So, do ECCG, let's dump all that off, and grab some plates. I don't need too many of them, I guess. Let's do a conveyor. And I guess we'll just start placing pistons. I just realized that's not middle point there, but I guess that'll be fine. I can kind of bring them over and down, or probably down and then over. I haven't really thought a whole lot about how I want the actual layout to look. But I know I want to use these just for looks, because these will end up looking a whole lot cleaner than using just a ton of these ports. And what I want to do is come back. Here's the bendy piece right here. Boom. Boom. And then I want the plain straight pipe there. And I'm going to build probably about 10 pistons like that. Actually, I don't need that piston there. Put it around. Yep. And then go back to 8. And do a bend. Like that. And do that. And we'll just continue off this pattern. So that's 3 pistons placed. Then we can do down, do 3 more, that'll put us at 6, come down, do 3 more, that'll put us at 9. And then I can do down 1 more, and that'll put me right where I need to be in order to do the actual wall. Yeah, I can come down 1, and then I could probably actually fit a whole extra piston on that too. Yeah, so this is going to work out just about perfect. I got really lucky with my placement there then. I need to turn this down. There we go. Down. I'm going to go back. And do straight pipe. Back to the bend again. And we'll go there. And then number 8 again. Oh, I don't have enough interior plates. That's why. Plate. That. So I had it right. I guess it's too far back. Straight pipes. Here. Here. And another piston. And go back to 8. Let's see, how many do we got? 1, 2. So yeah, we'll do 1 more here and then come down. Or not here. Right, because that's the piston, so we want this to be a pipe. So we'll actually need to come out this way another Yeah, we'll have to come out, another go, and then come down. Okay. So it's not going to line up quite as well as I had initially thought. That should be fine. Then we'll go with the standard straight pipe. Back over. Here. Another piston. Come down. And over here. And one straight pipe. That piston, so that should be 7. Now let's steel plates again. Yeah, actually, before I get any more steel plates, I'm just going to head over, grab the signal, come back, charge up the suit, and then get back to it after grabbing some steel plate. Oh, other side. Nothing special, probably because I got so many cosmetics right at the very start. Grab that. Nothing worth grinding off, really. Head back to the base. Signal up here somewhere. I'm not seeing it. Oh well. Suit and head back down here to grab some more plate. Go. And where'd I leave off? Building straight pipe here. So that'd be number 8. many is that? It's got 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, never mind. It does work out. So we got 9. And we'll go... go to the side, go down, and then over. So that way we can actually line up proper with... because we need to come down 1 block, but if I go straight down 1 block, then I won't have the piston extending here, which is what I want. So instead of doing that, we'll go over 1. Down, and now I have a choice I can make. I can either come out and then go down and then come around and add extra pistons, or from right here I can actually do this little number like that to get my last piston to line up properly. Then we can do piston there, and I can't actually place that piston on there, I believe, because this is actually in the way. So before I grind that off, I want to make sure this stays connected, like so. Now let's see if I can place that piston on there. No? Unable to place. Is it because these blocks are actually still in the way? Maybe so. So we'll make some more room. And do that just that way that all stays connected. Now let's see. So yes and no. I can and can't. Oh, place too many. Get rid of that. And then on the head of this piston, and then place my welder. Maybe. Seems like I don't like that. Probably because of those blocks. What I can do is I can get rid of that. That's still all connected up, so I still have my height guide. Yeah, now I can place that piston. Or not piston, that welder, I mean. That's not bad. So what I can do, I no longer need the pistons, I no longer need the pipe junctions. I only need the welders and the conveyor junction. And what I want to do before I get started on anything else, I'll go ahead and come over here to the panel. And all of these pistons, I want to select these. And we'll go ahead and turn share inertia sensor on. Now my whole base is moving. Still moving. I think it's settled down now. Let me go and hit up the flight seat real quick just to make sure it's actually still stable. Because sometimes subgrids cause your ships to go kind of crazy. It's not exactly at perfect 0, but it's pretty close. Let me check here. So I still can convert to station. It's just kind of glitchy on on that. So you kind of have to spam that button until it actually functions and lets you convert to a station. I probably should have started building this as a station rather than a ship, but it seems it worked out just fine anyway. Now, the very first thing that I want to do is weld up this piston here. That's the very last one. That's going to be my first order of business. And the reason I want to do that is, well, I'll show you here in a second. Okay, so we got that done. So I want to do minimum distance. Control click and we'll do 0.2. Reverse, reverse. Let's check this out. I'll grab the components I need to build this. Couldn't grab everything off the first go, but that'll be enough. Okay, so that's not quite far enough out. Alright. So we'll do 0.3. Minimum distance of 0.3. Reverse, reverse. Now let's see. No. Seems to have not been enough. So I'll control click and we'll jump to 0.5. And we want to reverse to extend it. Reverse to bring it back. Now it'll stop at 0.5. Still not quite there. So we'll jump from 0.5 to instead be let's just say 8. First slide to extend some, bring it back. Okay, so now at 0.8 we can place this, and as you can see it's just on the edge of being able to come back all the way, and that's exactly what we want. So that way I can actually build this in front of this plane, and it should have just the tiniest little gap in between those two blocks. But now that we have that set up, I can then move on to actually filling out the welder and conveyor blocks. So what I want to do now is just dump everything out of my inventory that I don't need. Cancel that. Grab all of this in. Basic tools I don't need. Clear my inventory out as much as possible. And I want to grab, say, 200 of these steel plates, and then as many of these interior plates as I can carry. And now, what I want to do is alternate between 5 and 6 all the way up. Oops, I scroll wheeled by mistake, but that's what we're going to do. We're going to go all the way up on that, and then we're going to follow that exact same idea, and we're going to alternate all the way down. And we're making sure that when we place this, we're not placing it to the block here, but we're placing it to the block here. And I'm actually going to double check that by checking the, let me take everything off my hand, checking the gap in between here, right? So we want there to be a gap between this block and this block, and all of these to be connected to each other. Right? Yep. And we'll come back down here and just keep on with the pattern. This is going to be the last one. Okay, so now we're done with that. And now we have one of the 15 lines for this wold wall. Which means what we're going to do now is alternate this pattern on this side, and then the same on this side. So what we can do is just every welder will put a conveyor on top of it. And then when we come back down, we can do 5, and we'll do welders on top of every conveyor. Just like that. And then we'll select our conveyor, and we'll do the exact same one back up. And then we do the same coming down. And this is going to be one of the faster ways to get this placed by hand. Welding this up, I definitely recommend. Just go ahead and make you a welding ship before trying to build a welder wall. Because it is an absolute pain to try to put all the components in for a weld wall by hand. Like, it's doable. It's just a pain. And I don't recommend it. Now, I've heard on a guide before that you actually can build a single welder and have it build the ones beside it. But I've never been able to actually get that to work in any of my games. So I don't know if that's just my luck, or if maybe there was an update since I've seen like that guide. Maybe it's just out of date. But now what we're going to do is we're going to come down. And this is going to be just our last row here. And last block for that side. So now we have half of the weld wall completed. Now we're going to copy that and do it over here. But first, I'm going to check out that signal and then charge when I get back. And what we got over here? That's that wrecked ship that has the warhead inside, which I don't want to mess with right now. And it's not a problem, especially with the act block, but I went way past that on one signal, apparently. I was too busy looking at the little waypoint. I feel like these don't stay active enough. That ship, I don't think I've interacted with before. Looks like it would have something good on there, but I'm not gonna break off from what I'm already doing. If it doesn't despawn by the time I'm finished, I might head over there, but I'm not gonna stop what I'm doing for that. We'll grab the credits, we'll grab the motors, and we'll leave that drill. Go, charge up. And move up out of there. And what we want to do since I have exposed welders, we'll just cover that with conveyors and then get started with that same pattern I was doing just a second ago. Oops. And if you're trying to copy this layout and you're having trouble with your welders not aligning properly, what you can do is you can hit T, and you'll see down there at the bottom, the T does like an auto rotate where the game will try to rotate the block in the way that it thinks you want it to be placed. Whereas if you turn that off, once you set a rotation, it'll be locked to where whenever you try to place a block, as long as you're looking at the block you want it to place on, it will place in that same orientation. So that can be really helpful. Just keeping in mind, you can turn that on and off whenever you want. So if you want the game to guesstimate where you want to place a block, you can turn that back on. Generally, I find it much easier to keep track of what I'm doing if I have that turned off, and then I don't have to worry about changing the orientation of the block each time. And one thing that I recommend you to not do is don't start welding up any of these blocks until after you've had it placed and you test the extension. Because if you weld up a full block and then you go to try it out and you realize that you misplaced something and it connected to the wrong grid, it's easier to grind off a bunch of blocks that aren't fully welded than, like, as compared to trying to weld off just the kind of like grid layout of the block. So come in here, and it's not going to let me place that one because of this, I guess. That's interesting. Can I place the welder up here though? No, I can't. So my weld wall is slightly too far this way for some reason. It's very interesting. That's going to be a little bit annoying. I probably just grind this off and just not have a guide right there. And we'll just get rid of that, and we'll do the same on this side. That's just because I don't want it to get caught up and break stuff, so we'll just get rid of those. And keep in mind, I only need one more row of welders. So we'll do the conveyors on down, and an auto interior plates. So I'll come over here, grab some more, head back, and then just the last row, so we'll just do every other block. There we go. And now, one thing to keep in mind, only the center row will actually be connected to your storage, and that's because all the rows side by side don't have any connectors that are actually connecting to anything. Like, yeah, you're using conveyor blocks here, but they're not actually side by side with another conveyor block. But you can fix that by either coming down here and do a full row of conveyors, Or you can do like conveyor tubes or, you know, something like that, just for the looks of it, which that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I'm going to grab pipe, and I want a T piece, which I don't have just a plain block for the T, so I'll need number 8 here. And we'll just have number 8 set solely to a T. And we'll start off with the T's, which will go all the way down from one end to the other, aside from the very last block. Okay, and then here we're going to switch to the end piece and try to rotate that in the correct orientation. Just like that. So now, what I want to do is get rid of this height guide. So I no longer need that. And now I want to test it by expanding this piston out. So we'll come over here and we'll reverse. And what we're looking for is to make sure that everything on that wall is all connected as one grid, which it most certainly is. So now what we want to do is come back over here and reverse again. And now I want to watch this top wall here. Just if I can stop hitting stuff. I'm going to watch this top wall and make sure that it doesn't collide with the actual base. Which it does not appear to have actually collided. It's just backed up really close. But there is a gap. So that's pretty much perfect. So now, the tedious part here is welding all of these here up. What I've found personally to be the best way to do multiple pistons in series like this is to have them all expand out one at a time as you build them. And also as you build them, you want to be naming these, so that way you know which one's which, right? Personally, I like to start with the one that's connected to the storages, like to your base, to whatever it is that you're printing from. I like to just number them 1 through however many you have, and then I'll put them all in a group called printer pistons. And for me, that seems to be the best way to organize all of that. What I want to do is just dump everything. And we'll just take a quick look and see what all do pistons need. It's 15 steel plates, 10 construction components, 4 large steel tubes, 4 motors, and 2 computers. So what I want to do, I'm going to grab about 3 of those, and we'll grab that, and that's pretty much my entire suit capacity. So we'll weld up, and this piston 1, and reverse. Okay. And now that it's fully expanded, we'll go to the next one. We'll weld this one up. And we'll call this number 2. And reverse. Oops. And what you'll notice is as it expands out, you'll actually have much easier access to weld up all these other pipes and the piston heads. And what we're going to do is we're going to move over all the components we need for all these bins. So now we do that.
Energy low.
And we were on number 2, so over here we'll do 3 and reverse. And while I'm thinking about it, we're going to come over here and charge up the suit yet again, which is easily one of the most annoying things about survival. And there we go. So we've gotten 3 of those pistons done. Try to do this one. Yep, number 4 done. So come over here, piston, 4, and reverse. Now all of the speeds I'm not going to worry about configuring until I've gotten the projector set up and decided what I want to print. Because you're going to need different speeds based on sometimes the layout of the ship, as well as a lot of the time whether it's a large or a small grid ship. Because large grid ships you can actually move a whole lot faster and still be capable of finishing the print. Small grids where those blocks are so small, you want to move a whole lot slower. Because where those blocks are so small, if you move way too quick, you're going to be out of weld range before you can even finish some of those blocks, and that can completely ruin a print. And then you'll have to move the pistons back, and sometimes you'll crash into your print, and that's not fun. Let's see, I think I have 4, so we want to try 5. In fact, let's just check here real quick. Piston. Yeah, we got 4, so this one here needs to be 5. Now we want to reverse. And as this extends out, you will notice just how easy it is to get to all those versus having it all bunched up in one little tight group like that. So now we want to be 6 and reverse. And once I get all of these pistons built up and extended out, then I'll go ahead and put them into a group, so that way I don't have to do that later. And then this one should be number 7. Reverse. And now you can kind of see just how long that printer actually can extend out. With as many as I have, I should be able to actually do the full length of Mercy. And, if something were to happen and, say I messed up, I didn't have enough pistons or whatever, I could do like a merge block and kind of merge this to, say, that edge there, maybe extend that out some, bring this back, merge it together, disconnect a piston, retract all that, add another piston in, put another merge block, and a merge block over here, then connect it back up, and I could do it like that. I also have the mod for the weld pads, so I could utilize those to reconnect back up. It's kind of a pain to do all that, so normally you want to make sure you have enough pistons before you actually finish up your weld wall and everything. But from previous printing, I know this many pistons should be just enough to print off Mercy. So we just did 7, so we want to do 8 and reverse. And I think that was all of my materials. Yes, it was. So we'll go ahead and grab blueprint for 2 more pistons. And we'll go grab the resources for that. There we go. So that was number 8. Which means this one will be number 9. And now, the last one, piston number 10. Get that built up in reverse. And I say last one, but actually, there is one more after that. Starting to get ahead of it a little bit. And this one would be 11. And we'll go ahead and reverse that too. And one thing that, when you're setting up the speed for this, right, you want to keep in mind, if you do like 0.5 on the speed, you have to multiply that by how many pistons you have, yeah? Because one piston might be moving at 0.5, but if you have all of them moving at the same time at 0.5, this weld wall will actually be moving at that velocity multiplied by how many pistons you have. The speed is additive, right? So when you set that up, you have to be mindful of that, because if you say, oh, you know what, I'm going to move it at like 0.02, right, but you don't keep in mind that you have all these pistons moving at the same time, then you'll run into the issue where you might pull back way too fast and your print doesn't actually get printed off. Or if you're extending forward, you might go too fast, too quick, and crash into something and cause some damage. You want to try to keep it, your speed's kind of slow on it. The retraction speed, in my opinion, I like to keep that at 1. Just because I want it to return real quick, but that's only if you're retracting after finishing a print, right? It's like, say you're doing like a small grade ship or something, right? You can print it way out here, yeah? And you finish that print, and then you don't want to wait for it to just slowly move on back, so you want to have another control set up to go ahead and bring it the rest of the way back and get it out of the way. But now we have that set up, right? The only thing that we need now is to finish up all this, weld up the wall, and then we want to come out here and have some sort of a platform, be it just a single stick. Just a stick would work. You want to have something that comes all the way out here that is connected to the base for your projector, or if you want, you could do a separate grid out here, like maybe like a little ship or something that you can fly around that has a projector with like a little bit of a block to get your print started on, that you could fly over here and kind of just line up to where the weld wall can reach that printer and print it off. But whatever you print has to be connected to the same grid as your printer, or your projector, I mean. So if I were to say come over here and do Projector. So we'll just grab this block real quick. So say I put the projector right here, and it's just attached here. Well, when I project that out, I need that projection to line up to a block on that same grid, which means I need a stick going out there. But say I put the projector on Mercy, then I can fly Mercy over here, line up the projection, and I can print whatever I'm projecting, print it to where it's attached to Mercy, and then go grind it off, and there you go. We're gonna go grab this really fast, charge up the suit, and then we're gonna grab my Maggie, load her up with some materials, and get to welding. Oh, didn't get anything off there. There was a thruster on there, and some credits. We'll take construction components too. And back off to the base. Now, one thing that you'll notice, right, with the way that I did the piston pipe, the way that I did the piston piping, right, the end of each piston actually goes behind the start of each piston goes behind the end of the prior piston, right? So you lose a lot of distance, just based on them not being one directly after the other. But the benefit of it is when it's retracted, they're a whole lot more compact, right? So, like, your overall distance that it can move this weld plate doesn't actually change all that much, right? It's just how compact it is. But you could actually have this a lot further out from the base if you did it end to end. It just, when it collapses back, it would stick out a lot further from the base when fully collapsed. But what we're going to do is charge up before I run out of power. And one thing that hopefully you've noticed is this airlock here is a very efficient sort of placement, right? Every time you go in and out, you're not losing any oxygen from that, because the way that these blocks are placed, the game doesn't calculate this empty space here as something that can actually be filled with your pressurized oxygen. So because of that, the airlock itself never fills with oxygen, and you don't have to worry about letting out oxygen every time you enter and exit the ship. Unlike the default airlock on Mercy here, every time you go in and out, you lose a little bit of your oxygen. So, what we'll do, we'll just come over here real fast and search for pistons, and we have 1 through 11 right here. And we'll name this. So we'll do printer pistons. I'll save that. Show block and terminal turned off. and I'm going to set default velocity to be 1, just because it's a little bit faster. We can reverse it, and you'll see it comes in pretty quick. All collapses up nicely, and hopefully, yep, it does not smack the base, but it gets very close. And then we can come back over here, we can go here to the control panel, we can search for printer, we can reverse it again, and you see now it extends out extremely fast for, you know, when it's going. So you want to be careful about that. If you have if you've had it retracted and you have a stick coming out and you start building a little platform up for it to weld off of, you want to make sure it's not going to smack into it, because if it smacks into it that fast, you're going to lose some of your boulders and conveyors, and you don't really want that. See here, what do we need? We need plates, construction components, small steel tubes, and motors. So come over here, open up the inventory, go to CCG, dump everything out of my inventory, and go to the ship inventory. I want small steel tubes. We want interior plates. We wanted motors. And we wanted construction components. And hopefully we've got enough. Probably not though, because that is a lot of conveyors to be welding. And we'll just try to slow down here and not smack into anything. There we go. I have to kind of be a little bit careful around this one because that lip above me, I don't want to smack into that. There we go. And I think I'm already out of parts. Okay. So yeah, I need a whole lot more than that. What I'll do is I'll just turn on auto dock and let it do its thing. So it looks like the main thing I ran out of there was the plates. I didn't grab enough of them. So we'll come in, search for plates. So we got over 9,000 right there, so we'll throw that in. And just try to stock up on all those. We have another cargo container there. I can stack up those, and then we want to fill that out with motors. And, you know, I think that'll be good. Let's see, 200 small steel tubes. I can't remember how many small steel tubes it needed. I'm thinking I'll just stock up on that. And here we go. up right where we left off. And you want to make sure as you're doing this that you're actually fully building the block. Because one thing that absolutely sucks to have happen to you is you think you finished it. You think all of your connections are done. And then you go to weld and you're like, why in the world is my printer not printing, right? Because it seems like everything should work, you know. But you're not actually connected to your storage. You do not want to have that happen to you. Sometimes it's a really quick catch and you can get it set back up and solved, and sometimes, you know, you don't catch it and you're like, why in the world is this not working? And you can spend a lot of time trying to fix something that isn't really broken. Okay. I think that's pretty much all of that done. So what we'll do, we'll just get up here and we'll send Mercy off to dock, and I'll leave her, and we'll set our dampers to not be attached to her anymore. And we'll start hand welding some of these easier to do blocks. So we want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's all I can grab. And we'll actually start from this end here. And we'll do all of these piston heads. Again, you want to make sure you fully finish all of these blocks. You don't want to hit it a little bit and, like, let's say run out of parts, right? Like this one here. You want to make sure that we come back to that one. Because if you only have enough to, like, start welding it, but you don't actually finish, and it looks like it might be done, but it's actually not, then it won't conveyor across, and that can lead to issues with making sure your printer will actually print. Now the good thing is, a lot of these conveyors and connectors will actually show lights on whether they're conveyored properly or not. So yellow means that it has power but isn't connected via proper conveying, and green is that it is connected to proper conveying. Just fill up the build planner on those and finish off everything we can. Maybe I can get this done in one last pass. We'll see. But personally, I like to start all the way from the end and work my way closer. And that's just because I want my trips to be getting shorter every time I have to go back and forth rather than getting longer. Go here, do CCG, dump everything I can. So we're done with that. So now, I want to take a look at these blocks. What do we need? We need interior plates, small steel tubes, motors, construction components. We need large steel tubes and computers. And when it comes to this many blocks, trying to build them all up, what I like to do is load up all on, one type of component rather than trying to load all of it all at once, because I know I can't fit it all. So, like, just for instance, I can go over here to my cargo containers, and I would say load up entirely on construction components. Alright, and then I'll make one pass with a ton of construction components. Load what I can. If I run out, then I know I need more. If I don't run out, then I know I don't need any more construction components. What you can do is just pass over all these blocks. And as we do, it'll drop off the components that we can. Make sure you've actually done your prior blocks. Try to keep a safe distance if you can from your build wall. We'll just go up the wall. Over. And then come down the wall. I think I got a little too far away from it there. Let's just double check and make sure. Seems I'm not placing anymore, so it might be alright. Just try to make sure you stay in line if possible. I'll be careful right here. What I like to do is hand those up here, kind of poke in, and they'll come over to the side, come up to the top, and then we'll nose down, come in from the top, and poke right back in, just like that, and continue on up. And I've done about half the world wall. I still have about half of my inventory, so I might just have enough to put all the construction components necessary into this world wall. Come back over and come down. And hopefully this will be the last pass. One up and over everything. And there we go. And we'll come up a little bit and send Mercy off to auto dock. I have faith that she won't crash. Famous last words. And we'll go and we'll check and make sure that construction components are in. Just casually glancing over some of these blocks, making sure we got just about all we needed. I don't see any red on there, so thinking it's all good. Now, one thing that I do want to try is to grab the print for just one full one. And we'll fly over here. And grab the components for it and come back. And I want to try to load one right in the middle, connect it up to all the storage here. Now why did not... Oh, I see. I had the piston tied into that inventory as well. Okay. CCG, got that. We'll grab the blueprint for just that singular welder and then check my log here. Ooh. Alright, so it is just the one welder this time around. Grab everything I need. I was a little confused at first. I didn't think about it, but I should have enough inventory space to be able to do one full welder. Now what I want to do is get on the back side of it. Over here, toggle block on, and we'll see, is it actually welding anything around it? And it appears that it is not. Okay, so we'll toggle that back off. And now I just realized I have all of these welders visible. So what I want to do is shift click these, not that one though. Oops. That's not what I want either. Control shift. Okay. Control that one on. Shift on that. No, that's still not what I want. So that's what I'll do. I'll just say fuck it, shift on everything, and then do Control and we select those two. Then we'll do build wall. Now we'll do capital W on it. Save. Show block and terminal off. There we go. So now let's look and see. So we got all the construction components we need. Now the next thing that's going to be a pain is the large steel tubes. They take up a ton of space. We don't need that many of them, but they are absolutely terrible on how much space they take. So go here to Mercy, go to DCCG, dump that off, and we'll load up on large steel tubes. Which seems I might be low on. Okay, never mind. We got some right here. So I haven't tried to do the math on how many of those blocks I actually placed. We're just gonna say that's probably good. And we'll come over. Kind of close. And we'll do the exact same that we just did with the construction components. I'll notice there actually isn't even enough components being placed to cause the welders to spark when we fly over these. But you'll notice very, very slowly the inventory is actually getting lighter, which indicates to me that the components that need to be utilized are being drawn out. And those little orange sparks you're seeing there are just the collisions where I'm actually smacking into the weld wall by mistake here. I would prefer to lightly smack into it than I would miss a pretty good sizable section of weld wall, you know? So come back over. Kind of nose up as we go up here because it's going to be middle, and we fucked up. And by we, I mean I. There are no floating blocks there, so what we want to do, key, welder, we'll grab one. Grab the components. Head back. Place. Prepare our ship. Grab the rest of that. And fly back over here. And there we go. Okay, yep. Red light's coming on, so that means we're good. Continue on. Come up. Poke into here. Come up here, nose down. poke in, make sure it's molded. Over here. Yeah, I've been smacking into it a good bit. Let's check and make sure durability's fine. Yep. So I guess that was just a little bit of misfortune there. Probably a tiny bit of cling. My guess is the end of that welder got caught inside of the block where they're semi-hollow. And it probably just clanged out, blew up my welder. Just make sure we stay kind of close as I come down. As you see, my inventory bar has now turned blue, so that's just additional confirmation that the components are actually being pulled from the ship's inventory. There we go. And we'll come over here, line up, and then this will be the last pass. Okay. And we'll call that good. So we'll hop out and take a look at these blocks, make sure we have large steel tubes in. Looks like we do. Yep, all of them that require large steel tubes have large steel tubes. So I'll hop in through Maggie. Come over here and we'll land and grab another component. Which, now that I think about it, I need to check and see what is the next thing we want to do. Probably a tie between motors and small steel tubes. I'm thinking since both blocks require motors, we'll do the motors next. So come over here, inventory, ship inventory, come back to CCG, drop all that off, and now we want to load up on motors. If I can put them in the right place. Yeah, I got plenty of motors. And you know, actually we still have a good bit of cargo space. So I think what I'll do, grab some computers, because those are relatively light, and we'll do the computers at the same time. Would assume that's probably enough, and we still have a little bit of space, so I can take some of these steel plates with me, and we'll go do that. Come in, gotta line up, should be about good. I'm not gonna lie, this is getting pretty boring, pretty repetitive. I'm getting kind of tired. But, you know, that's just part of the game. This is going to be a very necessary use of time and resources if you plan on doing any large-scale battles in solo, because it's very much necessary to have a way to produce your large-scale warships in mass, right? What you don't want to do is put all of your resources and everything into one combat ship, right? What you want to do is, like, as you go, when you have the resources to make 2 or 3, is when you go to start building combat ships, right? So, like, I have the resources to make, like, 4 or 5 of those Maggies up there, right? But I'm not going to make that many, and then just go and fly them one after the other against a bunch of AI drones and stuff and get them wrecked, right? Because that's still a very large investment and you want to try to protect it. But if you make the mistake of not having some sort of way to print those off quickly, and then you go and you get a massive warship destroyed, or even just like halfway broken, where it requires a lot of work and effort to repair, try to get to certain blocks you need to fix up before wrapping it in armor and stuff like that, you'll waste a lot more time trying to build one of those by hand or repair it by hand versus having a welder wall like this, where if something happens to that ship and it becomes severely damaged or destroyed, you know, with a printer wall like this, you can just print off a new one if you have the resources. You don't have to put a whole lot of time and effort into it. So you're saving time by using your time in building something like this. And I think most people who've already played Space Engineers or has a decent amount of experience, they already know this. But for anyone who might be new and stumble upon my channel, first of all, I'm very sorry. You should probably be watching somebody better. But, you know, this is definitely the way to go. Just like the Mandalorians, this is the way. But it feels like a waste of time as you're doing it. It feels really boring, really repetitive. But once you realize that this is saving time in the long run, that's when it, you know, really becomes worthwhile and you fight through that boredom. And one thing that I actually could be doing to kind of speed this process up, rather than sitting here and waiting for these blocks to load up all the way, I actually only have to hit them once for the components to go into that block. So I could speed this up by just lightly tapping, like just the first little bit of sparks that go off there. I could keep on going and just dump the resources in. But personally, I just kind of like to go through and go ahead and get these blocks loaded up, because it's going to take a good amount of time regardless of whether you finish these blocks now or wait until you have all the resources in there to load them up fully. So, in my opinion, I just like to go ahead and get the blocks I can loaded up, if for nothing more than just the visual, like, effect of I've actually made progress on this, you know? Whereas if you just go by real quick, the block stage doesn't change. So you can spend like an hour or two, you know, putting components into a large project, and then you not visually see any changes to it. And you feel like, man, I've wasted all this time on this project, it's not got any progress to it, just because you don't visually see the blocks being loaded up. And now I'm running low on some component, I'm not sure which one, but go ahead and go over the rest of them anyway, and I'll fly over and use my welder to check and see what block I ran out of, or component I mean. There we go. Well, over all of it. And we'll tell. Ooh. Oh, we're not gonna smack into. Come over here. She's a whole lot faster than what I was expecting, because their inventory is empty now. We'll do that up by there. Yeah, she should be fine. We'll come over here and we'll check and see what did I run out of. So that's all finished. Those still need large or small steel and components, so these are all finished. That should be finished all the way across. Like all these down here should be finished too. Yep. And it was during this row that I started running out of stuff. So that one's finished, that one's finished. This one is out of plates. So I ran out of plates as I was going through. So now I know on my next pass I need to grab some more steel plates, as well as I might be able to do both the steel tubes and interior plates, as well as get the rest of the steel plates I need. So we'll try that out. That's not what I wanted to do. I'll do CCG, dump everything over, and we will grab interior plates. We'll do, yeah. So we want to grab interior plates. I'm going to grab steel plates, which I don't think I'll need many of them to finish off that last little bit, so we'll put those over there. We wanted small steel tubes. That's a whole lot of them, so we should be able to grab the rest of the interior plates. And yeah, I'm pretty confident that'll be enough, so we'll finish off with some more steel plate. And we'll undock and come back over. And hopefully this will be the last pass I need to do to get everything finished. I'll try to line back up. I've way over thrusted to the side. Let's try to get back on track here. Come in, and I like to start from the bottom. That's just me. Doesn't really matter where you start, where you stop, as long as you're getting all these blocks finished off in a at least halfway timely manner, you know, not wasting a bunch of time, going like way too many trips or something like that, you know. As long as it's decently fast, you should be good. I'm getting a little bit off tilt. So let's try to fix that a little bit. No, actually, I'm going to check out this unknown signal real fast. Interesting. Pirate Raider over there. Might want to fight that. Not so much for resources, but just for the fun of it. Oh, that reminds me, I need to finish off that missile that I had on the Mercy from an episode or two ago. I think it was the last episode, if I'm not mistaken. Didn't get anything out of that, but ooh, we do have some more plates, so we'll take those. Yeah, we take the plate. And we'll continue where we left off. Sure we get everything loaded up as we go. And I'm noticing my inventory is just over the midway point as far as capacity, so I'm hoping that I actually have enough components here to finish off this wall. Alright, we're gonna finish that block off. Come up. There we go. Let me come back up. And I think I'm out of the rest of what I need, apparently. Let's see, what do I have in here? Quite empty. Oh, okay. So I need more small steel tubes, more interior plates. And we need more interior plates. And more small steel tubes. I think that's all the small steel tubes I own. We will pray that that's enough small steel tube. And load up on interior plate. Yep. And let's get to it. I don't want to start all the way from the top, so I'll come down to about here and get started just a little bit before where I left off at. And I'm going to be praying the entire time that I have enough small steel tube and that I don't need to produce any. I'll line up a little bit better here. I'm already out of something. Motors. I don't have enough motors apparently. Motors and computers and large steel tubes. Okay. It's fine, we'll come back for that. Just dump what we can right now. And actually, I'm thinking anything I might have missed this time around, I'll probably just finish off by hand. Because there are enough conveyor ports right beside each other where I should be able to just do like 2 or 3 blocks without having to actually move. Alright. Over here. So Maggie plan. And let's check. Okay, everything's done up there. So it's just these handful of blocks. Cannot throw. Oh, okay, I know why. I need to actually pull from this one. Yep. I think that's everything. So yeah. Now, build planner's empty, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4. Right now, those printers. Don't have enough here. So, grab the components. I'll withdraw. That is finished, right? Yeah, that is finished. So, thinking I just don't have the components. There. 1, 2, 3, 4. Try to withdraw. Can't withdraw the little tubes. So. Assembler. Server. Oh, that's only 20. Now let's do 1,000 of them. Okay. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Now we have a fully functioning, fully welded up weld wall. Over here. I'll just bring this in. And I'm going to actually do a save real quick before it reaches in. Just the off chance. Oh, you know what? Actually, never mind. Just realized I made the mistake of wanting only that piston and not the your pistons. Where's the whole wall? There, now the whole wall should be coming in fairly quickly. Alright. So, you know, that's not a bad build right there. I think well, I'm gonna hit this unknown signal and we'll come back. I'll charge up my suit, sit down in Maggie, and we'll call it a day for this video. Thinking in a few hours or so I'll probably take a nap or something in between, but in a few hours or so I'll probably record the next one and we'll figure out whether I want to have a ship-based printing platform or if I want to actually build off of the base to do a build platform for it. I think actually I'm kind of leaning towards doing a ship for it this time around, actually. Just because I haven't ever actually done that before. I'll come over here through BCCG, empty the ship, empty my inventory, and yeah, I think we'll call that a day. It's not too bad. We'll come over here, stop the music, and stop the recording.